to be on Gino's spot.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Got a drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino's shot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Gino's spot on a Monday. On a Monday at 5 o'clock, the weirdest time ever. I don't think I've ever done a Monday. It's never been a Monday. The first one tonight, because we had to make a plan because we have a live show tomorrow, which is fantastic. Isn't that wonderful? We've got a live show at the boardwalk for a corporate. So it's social distancing and all that stuff for the corporates, not for you, rebel. Keith, Ronald, Clark. Chilly afternoon in Cape Town. Oh well, down in Cape Town. Or was she getting some more stock? We got the punters. Thanks. That's Keith. We're punting tonight. And we've got Denise van Huyssteen in the studio tonight. And we're going to be having some of your gin. Thank you very much for that. It's been wonderful. I hope you've got some gin as well to warm yourself up. I've got a little bit of Fitch and Leeds. Thank you to our sponsors, of course, for Gino Spot, Fitch and Leeds and Spa. Spa have been absolutely fantastic. And let us not forget Amobia, our internet service provider. And they have a special deal on, ladies and gentlemen. So check it out. Check out the advertising. Win 10,000 Rand in cash. 10,000 Rand in cash. You can buy yourself a nice pair of shoes. There we go. Entering is easy. Refer one or more names. You just refer a person. And if that person signs on, you have a chance of winning 10,000 Rand, which you can obviously pay off your bond and retire on. Fantastic. So don't forget Amobia. Amobia has been wonderful. They've got fantastic internet. So if you need an Amobia, then just put my name on it. And then I'll win the 10,000 Rand. That will be the best plan. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Monday night, like I said, we have our What You're Watching on with Darren Fuller. So let's have a look and see what Darren has to say. But before that, we are going to do a song. I was just getting Gary sitting up and sitting down. All right, we're going to do a song. All right, and I'll see your comments for you. Woo! Hey, bit of Tom Jones. Not unusual to be loved by anyone. And Keith Ronald Clark is there in Cape Town. He's tagging Carmel Wolf and Gillian Clark and Gillian Burke. They're friends of his today. Matter what you say. Not unusual to have fun with anyone. Not unusual by anyone. And if I see you hanging around with anyone, it's not unusual. It happens every day. No matter what you say, they say it happens all the time. Trevor Apothecary, what's your strange name? Make sure you tag your buddies now. It's an unusual time that's happening. Unusual Monday coming on. It's not unusual to do a Monday show. And even if Sue Roti's a washing, she's a throw. And if I see you hanging around with anyone, it's not unusual to find out with you. Oh, 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 oh. Huyssteen. Welcome to the show. On a Monday, I know we're going to be rebroadcasting tomorrow, so don't worry if you miss out. Now we are on, it's actually Tuesday now in our minds. It is Tuesday at 6:30, and time for Gino's Spot indeed. So what we normally have is Darren Fuller doing What You're Watching, and we have got her in to do just that. Let's see what Darren has to say.
Hello everyone, 'tis I, Dairy, coming to you from this Monday. So yes, excuse my hair, look going for this, I didn't straighten it and I was in a tornado look. So anyway, so what to watch this week? Just trying to think. So obviously everyone's watched Clickbait or heard about it. Which is amazing. But what was so funny is that the main character in it, Adrian Grenier, I had been watching earlier on that day, I was watching him in a Christmas movie called Christmas in Graceland, which was very sweet when he was, you know, a single father of children, 3 children. And then this really lovely lady who curates museums comes back home for the holidays, and then she ends up becoming like their nanny. It's very Sound of Music, except in Graceland, so it's very Elvis-y. It even has Priscilla Presley in it, which was quite a surprise. So I went from this really wholesome, cute Christmas movie where Adrian Grenier is just this lovely single father, to watching Clickbait when, you know, obviously he's been kidnapped for supposedly abusing women. So yeah, no, very different. Lots of range there. So yes, cute Christmas film. That's Christmas in Graceland. Then Clickbait on Netflix now. The main character is kidnapped in the first episode and told to hold these signs up saying that he abuses and he's killed a woman. And the entire series is just trying to figure out what's happened, who's done this, what has he done. It's very, very good. Very, it's obviously very mysterious, very whodunit, very good. I haven't actually finished it yet, but I am very intrigued. Obviously, as always, I'm still watching Supernatural because, you know, there's a lot of seasons, but still loving it. Very good. Yay, Dean. Yes. No, Dean, Sam. Get confused between Gilmore Girls, you must understand. Okay, so then, yes, so we did Clickbait. Then I watched this documentary called Crazy Not Insane, which, if you like crime, is really fascinating. So it's this woman, she was a psychologist, and she was one of the first people that actually started figuring out that, you know, people who commit these terrible crimes as adults were actually abused as children, and that there actually is something that happens to their brains over a specific period of time if they were abused as children. And it's just really, really fascinating, and it goes through a lot of well-known cases throughout the 80s. Ted Bundy is even mentioned, and it's just really, really interesting if you like crime and understanding why people are doing what they're doing. Very, very good documentary. So that's Crazy Not Insane. Then I started watching, Lucifer, guys, Lucifer season 6. So it's the last season. Started watching it. It looks superb, and I mean, I just love Lucifer, obviously. That sounds really dodgy. That sounds like I'm in a cult. The series on Netflix, Lucifer, very good. Watch it. If you haven't started watching it, do it, because now you've got 6 seasons to watch. And then lastly, we started watching this series. I think there's only like 3 or 4 episodes out at the moment, called Only Murders in the Building. And it's created by Steve Martin. It's so fantastic. It has it's Steve Martin Short, and then also, Selena Gomez. So it has such an amazingly diverse cast, and they all live in the same building, but they don't really know each other, and they're not really friends at all. And then there's a murder in the building, and they're all obsessed with the same podcast. So then they start they start trying to solve the murder themselves. And it's just so well done. I mean, Steve Martin is a fantastic writer, and he created the show. So Guys, it's really, really fantastic. Please watch it. So that's about it for this week. I did some re-watching of films. Edge of Tomorrow, it's sci-fi with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, which is fantastic. Set in a future where these aliens are attacking us, and Tom Cruise gets thrust into the war even though he doesn't know what to do in this particular film. Very, very good. And yeah, that's about it for this week, guys, except for the excessive amount of supernatural. So I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Drink your bitch and leads, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Darren Fuller, that's our lovely lady that does our What You're Watching every Tuesday, and she's in a different spot today. I noticed all the different things behind her. Denise van Huyssteen, ladies and gentlemen, Denise van Huyssteen, all the way in Gino's spot. Can you believe it? I just said to you now, I've wanted to have you on for so long as well, because there's always something going on when Denise is around, you know.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
No, it's fantastic. And you've just come onto the chamber. Was it chairperson, or is it a CEO, or what is it? What's the actual title?
Well, job titles don't really matter.
Oh, come on. Oh, it must be something that you could put on your CV.
Yeah, look, I actually started my career at the chamber. I was an intern, so that was my first taste of chamber life. And so it's kind of full circle, and I've come back now, and I'm the CEO, but I was on the board for a number of years before that. So I've kept my involvement with the chamber because I'm an activist at heart.
Okay, yes, I see that. No, but I mean, that was still, were you still at Technicon, or at that time was your first job at the chamber then?
Yes.
Very first job?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so intern, learning about how the thing works.
Yeah, it was a very volatile time then, because in those days you used to have all the marches, all the unions and that would march to the chamber buildings, and they'd have these signs that say chop off FW's head and things like that. No?
How nice of them.
Yeah. And then I also was lucky at that time where I got to meet Nelson Mandela when he was released from jail.
Yes.
Yeah, so he went around the country and he met with organised business. Wow. So that was one of my highlights when I was there. So
I'm sure. That's a proud moment.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, they always say it just fills up a room when he comes in.
He's amazing. He was amazing.
Yeah. And I don't know if Gary said small hands. Was it big hands or small hands? Big hands. Big hands. It's big hands.
Yeah.
So he could grab you by the throat if he needed to.
No, but a couple of years later, I got to meet him again because when I was at Delta Motor Corporation, he actually his officers from the Nelson Mandela Foundation, they contacted me the one day and they asked if we would donate 3 vehicles to the Department of Justice. So I said, yeah, we'll do that, but he needs to personally come and receive them from our employees. So he actually came, and he brought Penuel Maduna with him and a couple of other dignitaries, and we had our delegation lined up, and everybody was ready to shake hands with him, and then he went right past them, and there was a cleaner standing right at the back there, and he went and he shook hands with her, and to me that was just amazing.
It's amazing,
absolutely amazing.
He took it took the time and thing to actually see what's going on here, what's important and what's not important.
Exactly.
Imagine the impact that he made on that life as well, hey?
Exactly. Well, I mean, when he addressed the employees, I mean, you could feel it in the way everybody felt, and when he spoke to the employees, I mean, they hung on to every single word. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal.
And wasn't it amazing that he had this unifying thing about him? Like no matter who it was that in the country, whatever race group, thing, cultural group, whatever, everybody loved Mandela.
Yep.
It was quite amazing.
Well, when I first started traveling, when I was later with General Motors, when you'd go to the US or to other places, then when you say where you're from, then the first thing that we say is Nelson Mandela. Which is why I don't understand why we're not adopting the name Nelson Mandela Bay.
I know.
We're the only place in the world that has the right to do that.
The name, to use it. And I know Ngababanga on a while ago, and he was fighting for it, you know. Look, I've settled now with Klebecha. It's the catch and release on the top of your mouth. Klebecha. There we go. There's Wendy saying, hello Denise, do you remember I remember you as a PR student at MCI with that in marketing. That's MCI.
That's the Midland Chamber of Industries.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Was that Midlands Medical Aid? And that's
they used to have medical aids then. So you had medical aid funds at that time, and then the organisation represented industry.
Okay, because
And
I
then
think Wendy was of the medical aid
Yes,
side.
yes, she was. And then later they merged commerce with industry. And
Okay.
Today it's a chamber of business.
Yeah, okay. So that actually formed
Yeah.
MCI was then as well. Oh, remember the MCI medical aid that went bang? Yes. That was MCG, MCI.
That's right. There was years ago.
That would, and it became Tafelberg Medical Aid. I remember that.
Not under the chamber though.
Oh, not okay.
No,
was it
yeah,
moved
yeah.
away then?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
jeez, like that was another story. I remember that medical aid because I was on it, and you could get sweeties from the chemist if you wanted. I think that's why they went bang. Okay, so let's go do the history. And I know we were talking earlier, and I said I didn't remember when I knew, but I know I've known you for like too long, and I can't remember when. But we were at school together.
Yes, yeah. So I remember when I was in high school at VP with
yes.
you, and you'd sit in assembly, and then you'd be playing the drums in the corner because you were in the school band.
Yes.
And then later, when we had our matric farewell, you were playing at the after party.
I know, and just you said that, and the after party was the same after party I did with Anton. It came up as one of the worst gigs of our lives.
Well, it was terrible because I remember it was raining that evening,
Yes.
and then you were making up words in the song, and you were talking about the rain on the window, and I'll never forget it.
Oh my God! So you see, it wasn't just now that I'm doing it. I've been doing it all the time. It was my early comedy when I didn't know I was a comedian.
No, and good for you. I mean, it's amazing what you've achieved. You
I
know how
know.
far you've taken that.
I know, hey, from those days.
Yeah.
From my first gig at the VP after party, or the matric dance after party, where you're in your nice rocky and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my soul. That is so cool. That is really so cool. I mean, I remember it out there. It was out in the Gamadulas. Proud to see Denise is another old Victorian. Sam Fenter.
Okay.
She was with us.
Yes, that's
She
right.
was, Sam Fenter was also. In fact,
That's
Sam was
right.
with me at Clarendon Park as well. So we go way back.
But you see, that's typical of those of us living in the city. We're all somehow connected to each other.
We are.
Yeah.
Where were you at junior school then?
I went to Charlotte Primary School.
Oh, at Charlotte Primary. Okay. Were you born in PE as well?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so born, bred, PE.
And you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sanford, eh? Sanford at Provincial.
Yeah, I was at Provincial.
Yeah, that's the one. Sanford. A great leader of the chamber, says Bev Gaia. Thank you, Bev. She's a sweetie as well. But look at her cowboy hat there. You know. She's got a great hat. I like your hat there. Oh, my soul. But yeah, and these people that also have always been involved with the chamber somehow too. I think Sam was also.
Absolutely. No, Sam played a vital role. She worked there at one point in time, and we still interact a lot.
Yeah, was that with Kevin Wakeford still at that time?
I was there when I was a student. Okay, that was before Kevin's time. But later on, I came back to the chamber.
Yes.
So I kept coming
Oh,
back.
I see, yeah.
So I think I kept getting drawn to the chamber because I'm more of a cause-orientated person.
Yeah.
And Kevin Wakeford was CEO when we were lobbying for the Kucha RDZ project.
Okay.
And he became known as Mr. Kucha.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
she was, yeah. Because I mean, and it's a hell of a lot of work there. So hang on, so we're going back now. VP, you matriculated there, and you went on to Tech.
Yes.
Technicon.
Yes.
Okay, and what did you what was this studying there?
I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Neither did I.
So it was like an elimination of all the things I didn't want to do, and that's how I ended up studying what I did, which was public relations management. But I was more interested in the photography and all the other things. You
Quite
know?
like the art side.
Yes, yeah.
'Cause I know you're a music lover. You don't play music, but
No,
you like.
I can't even clap my hands in tune. So when people clap their hands, I have to watch.
Okay.
But I love
You
music.
watch.
I love music.
You watch when you clap your hands. Oh, I love it. But you say photography and stuff, so you might have gone into that too.
Well, I don't know, but that was the kind of stuff that interested me in terms of the subject choice. But I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, you know.
Okay,
so.
yeah. But then nobody does, and I think there's so much pressure put on the
Yeah,
kids now.
yeah.
My boys are going into varsity and studying tertiary studies now. And
Yeah.
my youngest is in matric, and you know there's so much pressure put on them.
Yeah.
Everybody asks them, you know, like, what are you doing next year then, mate? Here we go. Brian Matthews. Wasn't Brian Matthews there when you started at MCI?
Yes, he was there in the early days when I was a student. That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
was he at the chamber?
Yes,
So,
that's
okay.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you studied there. Straight after that, into the chamber for a bit of a
Internship.
internship. And what do you do as an intern at the chamber?
Well, everything they throw at you.
Skivvy.
Yeah, exactly. but I wanted to go into that environment, and I
Okay.
remember at that time There were internships available. They paid much higher, and the Chamber's a non-profit organisation, so it was a lower income. I remember my first paycheck was 575 Rand a month. But for me, I wanted to be in business, and I also, it appeals to me, the idea of making a difference. And I think that's why I always gravitate back to the Chamber. Because it is an opportunity to change things and to change the narrative of our city. We have so much potential.
Yes, it is. We're just talking about that. I mean, the potential of the city is incredible. It's got the most beautiful beaches. It's got close to everything. 10-minute city. I always say that infrastructure, this infrastructure that's here from the 60s is just so over-engineered that it's beautiful because, I mean, I know it doesn't make the beachfront look nice and everything. And now, the freeways are so ugly now, Strand Street and everything. And it hides the camper now. But, I think it makes PE, the freeways make PE a quick city. So.
But the thing is, I think we as citizens here, we underestimate how great the city really is, and it took me to see it through the eyes of foreigners. So we'd have, when I was at General Motors, we had different managing directors that would come, and they'd be in office for 2 or 3 years, and then sometimes they would come and they're very negative about coming here because it's nothing works, you've got electricity problems, water problems, all of that kind of thing. But you eventually find they get so attached to the city they don't want to leave. And they love the lifestyle, they love the attitude of the people, how close everything is, no traffic, the game reserves are just outside the city. So we've got so much here that we don't realize, and we don't do anything with it. So I think the mindset of we need to change our minds and start taking ownership of our city and our future.
I mean, we just touched on it when you came in. We touched on the valley here, and I don't know if the chamber itself has got anything to do with this whole valley project.
We are doing a study in partnership with others, where we're looking at coming up with a plan, an implementation plan to revive the valley and get things going, because we think that natural assets are key.
Beautiful.
And I think also over the years people have been too focused on creating projects, like building statues and things, and we should actually rather be preserving our natural assets.
Of course.
And we've got lots of great.
They're here already. They're struggling to survive, aren't they? I mean, if you think about it, and I mean, it's actually such. It wouldn't take as much capital then to well, it's going to take capital, but it wouldn't be as much as building like you said, a huge statue or something else, and. I mean, it's all here if we just let it grow. We just give it enough chance to let it grow.
And I think COVID also plays into our hands. I know everybody's focused on the negative side of COVID, but if you think of the shift now in terms of people wanting experiential tourism and being back to nature, so and we've just got unspoiled beaches. We've got so many opportunities.
I mean, we call Gqeberha now. This is the Gqeberha River. We want the Gqeberha Valley to be just as it must be the flagship.
Absolutely,
So I'm all for the valley. Let me know if I can get involved. I know Adrian Gardner was also looking at it as well when I had him in. He was I think what's the trust. I can't remember now what the thing was called.
I think they're the Mantis.
Yeah, the Mantis Bus, but they had some with the valley and the nature conservation thing just out of town here, Karma Way or something. And I mean this like I said, this valley is just beautiful. If we stay right here, we can walk through it, and they've got hunting dogs going on there. There's betting and gambling and stuff. I don't know, it just needs to be. Imagine if those same guys that are taking out the hunting dogs could be tour guides, taking tourists up the thing. They would make more money as well. They would make more bucks in their back pocket. They would feed their families. The whole thing would just explode. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing. Whenever there's a little buck that comes down the valley, you think, oh, there's a buck, and then it gets poached or it gets. So we don't need to do much. It just needs a bit of nurturing, I think.
But even our historical sites. If you think of Central area and St. George's Park and so on, I mean, we should be looking after our heritage and our buildings. And I think also in the last 2 years since COVID has happened, a lot of things have been neglected. And we need to take back the city. We need to clean the streets. We need to preserve what we have. And I think we've got a lot, but if we don't do anything about it, it's all just going to eventually.
It is. And if everybody takes their takes a little bit of time to do it. You know, everybody as a collective just knows, okay, well, you pick up that paper when you walk past, you clean up that thing, or you fix that thing. If there was a guy in 10th Avenue Warmer, where there were pillars that had fallen off.
Yeah.
And one of the construction guys came around and he got a couple of guys in and they fixed up the pillars. You know, it looks beautiful again. It just takes a little bit. It didn't cost a lot of money. It just took a bit of pride in your place that you live in, you know. So it can be done. It can be done.
Absolutely.
And I'm so keen to get involved in anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's great. And the business chamber itself, I mean, that is a thing to create a network of private sector.
It's a platform. It's a platform for business.
It's a non-profit, like you said as well.
It's a non-profit organisation, and we represent the interests of our members. And I think the biggest priority right now is we need an enabling environment in which business can operate. So that gets to your basics like water supply, electricity supply, a safe and secure environment. And then adjacent to that, we also need to promote economic development.
Okay.
But for me, it's also about retaining investors, not just attracting. Because it's hard sell right now when you've got no water and a cable theft that's happening, and it takes factories down for days and they can't produce because of cable theft. So those are the issues that we need to need to be addressed, you know. So we've got very robust engagement in place around those issues.
And robust engagements being your thing over the years. I know that. I mean, so you moved from there to Delta because you got headhunted basically from the chamber to Delta.
Yeah, one of the board members.
Oh, really? What a bugger!
No, I got the
Who was
phone.
that?
He was the MD of Delta at the time, Willie van Wyk.
Really?
And then I remember they got an agency to call me, and the first time they called me, I said, no, I'm not interested, because I really loved my job at the chamber. I was enjoying it. And then they kept phoning, so I thought, okay, I'll go and see him, and then it will go away. And when I walked into his office, I knew instantly, okay, I'm going to take this job.
He said, listen, you're coming in.
And I enjoyed my time at Delta. I mean, it was an entrepreneurial organization.
It was at that time, The directors at that time was very fun. Like, was George Stickman involved there as well? Paul Sherman.
He was the HR guy at the time.
Because I remember Chris was involved with Paul, I think, and George. And that's they were
very entrepreneurial, and they even won awards for being the top non-listed company in South Africa.
Really?
Because
they basically bought from GM.
GM left the country, and then Delta rose out of the ashes, I guess.
With the opals and things. And I mean, there was and a big company. It was a big company. I think it was 5,000 employees at that time. You know.
Yeah, and I think for me the reason why I joined them is because I always heard about all the things they did in the community.
Okay.
You know, and they were very involved in the community, and also their foundation. They had the Delta Foundation in place, and they made a lot of impact in the areas of housing and education. So I was always very proud to be part of that.
Turning to the GM Foundation as well.
Yeah, so then
Paula and Kathy Balshaw.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they did amazing work.
And we must actually have them on at some stage. I don't know what they're doing now. It's not continuing.
No, the foundation. Unfortunately, with the GM exit, a lot of things came to an end. I mean, we tried to save what we could, but we couldn't save everything.
And you guys had to. I mean, we're saying over the recent times now with you guys. You couldn't say a word. You had to.
Look, I don't think people realize what happened with that exit. And basically, it was, I think it was in 2015, December, just before Christmas.
Yes.
I got called into an urgent.
Just before Christmas.
Yeah, so you were on leave, and then a group of us had to dial in for this call, and then we got told that the General Motors board had met in Detroit, and they had taken the decision to exit out of the South African market completely. Wow. So there would be nothing there.
Nothing.
Yeah, so and you were sworn to secrecy. We had to sign NDAs. Jeez. Couldn't tell anybody, not even your family, friends, nobody.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then we worked on that project, but then we also we lobbied hard to get them to change their minds. We tried everything we could, and I think if we hadn't done what we did, there would have been nothing left. And it was actually hard because you drive to work, And you think of everything you're driving past, and you know the company had a hand in that, and you think of all the suppliers, how those companies would be affected, the community support projects you do, the employees, you know. So it was hard living with that. And I mean, at that time in my life as well, there was just a small group of us working on that project, and you were literally on planes all the time. So you'd fly to Singapore and everywhere because you had to present all these things. And
Detroit.
Yeah, and you were dealing with American lawyers and all those people as well, because everybody was interfering in what you were doing. So it taught me a lot of patience. I had some really tough times as well, where you were sitting in meeting rooms, and then you have to hear how bad South Africa is, and South Africans, and you know, and then you're like defending your country. And I think the employees obviously didn't know that was happening. You know, and then you also had media fishing around, and then you couldn't lie to them, but you also couldn't tell them what was going on. So it was a very delicate balancing act, and everything when we gave speeches to employees, everything we did, I had to think of every single word. Our words with everything, because you couldn't step a foot wrong. But that went on for almost 3 years that I lived like that. You know, and I was on planes all the time.
Can keep a secret.
I did.
My word, now that must be so much pressure as well. I see Paula and Kathy on our Siawela Foundation. I think I must have them in, because those two are another story.
I think you should.
They're quite a power trio, power duo. And so that's incredible that this small little group was in fighting for 5,000 people. You know what I mean? It's like at that time, I don't know what it was like, but you had to try and keep the whole thing alive. And so Isuzu then obviously came in.
We had to convince General Motors to allow us to engage with Isuzu, to convince them to come to South Africa, and then we had to convince them. I mean, I also went to meetings in Japan, you know, and then then you sit on the one side of the table and the Japanese on the other, and then you say something, and then they have to translate it, and they all talk, and then you have to wait for a response. So, I mean, the exposure I got was amazing, but it was also difficult, because I even remember being summoned to Seoul, to South Korea, where all the problem markets were there, and we all had to sit outside like a meeting room, and then you get called in one by one, and then you've got to present what your plan is for your country, you know. So you have Australia sitting there, and of course General Motors pulled out of Australia.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so I had you had all those kind of countries sitting there with you, you know.
So it's like, oh no, mate, we're in trouble, mate.
And I mean, at that time, my role was Africa and Middle East. So I also was doing the GM's exit out of Kenya. So I was running the South Africa exit and the Kenya one. And then I had a team in Egypt, and then a team in Dubai that were doing the Middle East. So I was literally flying between those markets. So you were trying to run your job there, plus you were doing the exit. And then you get called into the room, and then you have the guy who heads up communications in Detroit, and some other people in the room, and you've got to present. So I had to present what we're doing in Kenya, in South Africa, and there was also an issue going on in Egypt. And then when you get to South Africa, you put the map up of Africa, and then the guy's initial response is, well, Africa's a F up. You know? So it's all just one country. And then you go into your presentation and you try and explain that this is actually a good market for an automotive company to be in, because we have a program that was the APDP at the time that incentivized automotive production. You know, and you try and explain that, because it's different to the Australia situation where they didn't have that in place. You know, but then as soon as you try and do that, you just get told, shut up and stick to the facts. So I mean, so I don't think people realize what. It was a group of us that had to engage in different scenarios, but I think it taught one resilience, and I think for me, I learned never to give up, to always have hope.
Keep go.
Because we had a solution in the end. I mean, it wasn't ideal, but at least it saved jobs, it saved the supply chain.
And saved a lot of the city. I mean, if you think about it, it's a huge part of the city. And if you look at all the periphery, all the suppliers and the people that are involved in it, it's a lot of people. I mean, just extrapolates. It's like exponentially the numbers just get bigger and bigger. You know?
Yeah, but I think the big thing for me as well in the build up to the General Motors exit, because it went on for so long that you were living with this cloud hanging over your head, and you go
4 years and you can't tell anybody.
And you go to secret meetings in different countries, and the reason for the purpose for the business, and that you can't say why. But when we came to the week of the actual announcement, then you really felt the emotional pressure of what was about to happen, because I had to kickstart the process. And what we did was we got all the employees to the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium.
Yes.
We set up a site there, and then we had to brief them on what was going on.
Okay.
And I remember I still went into the bathroom before the time, and I just cried, just to get it out.
Release.
Because you knew what was going to come.
Release.
And then you walk into the venue, and then you have to go in the front, and you have to address the employees and tell them, look, today we've got an announcement, blah blah blah. But I mean, and we did the announcements, and then from there we had to rush off to the boardwalk, because we had to do a press event, and you had to do everything fast, so that you control the story, and social media doesn't get control of it. So you go from one session to the next and you've got dealers.
The narrative, that's the thing. Yes, the narrative.
Yeah, and the dealers that you have to protect as well, and so it was hectic. And the Americans are very paranoid, so they also signed bodyguards to us. So I had, so I also had to live with bodyguards for a while, and a watch that they gave me which tracked wherever you were.
Holy crap! I mean, Denise has got bodyguards. She had bodyguards.
No, that was it felt like I was in a movie.
I know. I mean, surely that would make you anxious in itself. The fact that you have good bodyguards.
I think I learned a lot about myself, and I think when I'm in crisis situations, I actually get very calm. So I was able somehow to deal with that. But I mean, they took my car away, so I wasn't allowed to drive. So you'd have the two bodyguards would come and fetch you every morning to take you to work in your own car. Yeah. And then every time you left the building, they'd have to escort you. And I remember the one day after work, I wanted to just stop at the food store and get groceries. Yeah. And then the bodyguard follows you in, and he's like, you doing that up and down the aisles, and so it was very weird living like that.
I'm sure.
Because they didn't know what would happen, because I think there were fears that people might protest and target certain individuals, especially because you're the one carrying the bad news.
Yes. So immediately if you're the spokesperson, then all of a sudden you represent everything. Doesn't matter if you had no choice in the matter.
Yeah. No, and I remember as well, one of the things I was desperate to do, because everything had become so extreme, I just wanted to go and play tennis and go do something normal.
I heard that you played tennis, actually.
But I went to play tennis, and I had the watch that's tracking me, and the bodyguard was sitting down there, and I didn't say a word to the people because I didn't want them to know. Of course. Because it was just too bizarre.
It's like your dad dropping you at school. Don't drop me here, Dad. Drop me over there.
Exactly.
Then you get to a point where you say, I will always love you. Was that the bodyguard song? I can't remember.
No, Whitney Houston.
No,
I chatted to the bodyguards when you're driving with them, and I asked who have they protected in the past.
Oh, really?
And they say, Bill Clinton when he was in South Africa.
Oh, the American bodyguards?
Yeah, no, these are South African guys. But when those kind of high-profile people came to the country, they were professionals.
Okay. Because in the movies, the South Africans are always the bodyguards or the baddies. They were normally the baddies. And they always talk like this, a bit of an Afrikaans accent as well. Then they've got to be really baddies.
No, these guys were nice.
Okay, well, they're good. And so, I mean, how long did that last for?
It was just a couple of weeks. But I mean, it was just the...
over that time when they decided.
It took me a long time to feel like I wasn't in a movie. Because it was so long that you were living with this big secret that you were carrying, and you were working on plans that kept changing. I mean, we even had the announcement changing up until 11 o'clock the night before the announcement, because you were dealing with Opal as well.
Yes, of course.
And that plan kept changing in terms of, because we actually wanted Opal and Isuzu to remain afterwards together.
Yes.
But then things suddenly changed, and Persia got in the mix, and the French bought Opal. So you were dealing with the Germans, you were dealing with the French, you were dealing with the Japanese, you were dealing with Americans. It was like...
and it's global.
Yes,
so it's crazy, because I remember Chris, my friend Chris, saying that the Peugeot now offered him a job, and who is he going to move to?
Yeah.
So even then, he was over in England at the time. So it was Vauxhall and that stuff.
That's right.
So Vauxhall was moving to Peugeot. Yep. He had to move overseas. He went to Detroit eventually.
Yep,
and he's still there. Chris, love you, boy. And incredible that whole global thing was at the same time. And Peugeot, of all things. And then Peugeot was pulling out of South Africa. I don't know, they got Citroen, or I don't know whether Citroen or Peugeot is here. I can't remember. I think it's Peugeot, not Citroen. I think Citroen's pulled out.
Yeah.
So we are just at the mercy of these global companies sometimes.
No, but I think as South Africans, I think we did our part in terms of preserving what we could. So we did save jobs, and I think we did do the right thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, and we had good support from our government as well in terms of handling that, you know, when they realised what was going on.
Okay, so they also came in and helped where they could.
Yep.
But the pressure here and there. Oh, lovely. Okay, that's good to know as well, that they do want to preserve that business, you know.
Yeah.
And because often you think, government is just gonna, don't worry about the government, but there surely are good guys, you know, in council and our situation. I know Lungisa's just been released into the ANC again. I see that, so that's going to throw a cat in the pigeons.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you got a close relationship with council as well?
No, well, we engage with whoever happens to be the government of the day.
Okay.
You know, so whoever happens to be the mayor, they would be a key person that we'd interface with. And then we also, the EDs are very important, the heads of the departments of water and sanitation, electricity, and so on. Yeah. You know, so.
No, just a quick one on the water and the electricity and stuff. I know the chamber's involved there. What's happening there at the moment? What's the updates?
Well, I suppose I've been very loud on the water crisis, but when I
first... you've been loud on it.
When I first got into office and I realised just how serious it is, and you realise it's more serious than people think, because I think most people just carry on
as if there's just been this dread, you know, you're thinking like there's nothing being done, but it's like I think it's bad.
Yeah, no, it is bad. And I mean, Cape Town made a lot of noise with their water crisis, but they weren't in anywhere near as bad situation as us. You know,
even worse than that.
Yeah. And the big tragedy as well is that we lose 35% of our water to leaks. You know, so a lot of it is infrastructural issues.
Sure.
You know, because of lack of investment in infrastructure for many years, lack of maintenance. So those are all very important issues that need to be addressed. Yeah. And at the same time, obviously, we all need to reduce our water consumption because we are running out of water.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we've got the Nooitgedag scheme, and if it wasn't for that, we'd really be in a bad situation.
So there is water coming through from there somewhere. I don't know how.
Yeah, but it's not. The city isn't interconnected, so it won't go everywhere.
Yeah, okay. So it can go to certain spots. They open the sluices, and then it goes into there. Let it into the river there, and then it goes down, trickles down there, down the drain pipe into. So we've got to really get that whole infrastructure in place as well. That's quite a big job, though.
Yeah, but I think the rains we've had have helped, because they've further delayed by a couple of weeks when we do run out of water. And I think most of us, I'm sure you've also had the experience of not having water for a couple of days, a couple of times already. You know, and I think that's something we have to adapt to. And I think water tanks, you know, recycling of water. We are in a water scarce area, so we've also got to change how we live.
I know a lot of the people that are putting in tanks and that are making a fortune at the moment, they are out there doing it.
It's always an opportunity in a crisis.
Absolutely, and the solar guys and the tanks guys.
Yeah.
We've got, and I'm at the bottom of the hill, so I get everybody else's leftovers, so I don't really normally run out.
Yeah.
It's been great. Just also, the fact that you were always spokeswoman. So you were the spokesperson for GM, you were a spokesperson for Delta. That must have been tough, man. And I've seen you in the papers before, and I've always thought, oh, poor little Denise, she's having a hard time now. She's like, man, you have to stand in the front there and do your thing. I mean, it's supposed to be a nerve-wracking thing.
It is, but I think you have to do your homework well. You've got to be well prepared. So for everything, I always focus on anticipating what was going to come before it comes.
Yeah.
So you're ready before it comes. So that's kind of how I always operated. But the funny thing is, when I was in school, I was terrified of orals and things like that. You know, so I never thought I'd be in a role where you also have to do public speaking, because that was something I did not want to do.
Not only public speaking, like hectic.
So there's lots of things I've been doing in my career that I never imagined that I would do. But I think if you're adaptable, flexible, I think you can learn, and you know. So, and I've been very lucky, because I've had amazing exposure to some very good leaders, and I got the opportunity to travel and go to places that I never thought I would go to. I mean, I didn't even have a passport when General Motors came back because I never even thought of
going
traveling.
overseas.
Yeah, it wasn't even in my
A
imagination.
homebody.
Yes, yeah. So I had to very quickly go out and get a passport and change my thinking, you know.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and really in the firing line, comedy is one thing, but I honestly think that is possibly more scary than comedy.
Well, the thing is with crisis management as well, it's not just what you see in the media, it's all the stuff that doesn't happen in the media.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and that's what you're actually trying to achieve in many cases as well.
Yeah.
You're trying to manage a situation so it doesn't get to that.
The narrative.
You know? Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they were saying I saw it, it was Alan Stratton or the DA guy saying with this accident with Mababanga, they didn't take the narrative quick enough, you know.
No, you've got to move with speed when it's a crisis. And also if people think you're not telling the truth, that's when things go wrong as well. You've got to be very quick and say what you can say, even if it is not much. If you don't know, say you don't know, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but speed is key.
Get in and do it, you know, and grab just control that story and make sure, because people believe anything.
Yeah.
We were talking about vaccinations. I've been vaccinated and Denise has been vaccinated. That's why we are here today. And I mean, you're important for our economy as well. To get that going,
No, it's absolutely vital.
Yeah.
And if you look at what I'm particularly scared of is you've got the fourth wave coming early December. Obviously, things are relaxing now. People are going to go back to some kind of normalcy.
Yeah.
But if we don't achieve herd immunity, then we have the fourth wave to deal with, and it comes at a time when it's holiday season. So what happens to jobs in the tourism, hospitality sector? Because how much of a beating can they continue to take?
Exactly. Us musos. How much longer can we be illegal?
Exactly.
I don't want that anymore. Get vaccinated so we can do our gigs, for goodness sakes. It's so true, you know. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. All right, and 9 distinctions. Was that a tick?
Oh, hell.
9 distinctions, huh?
Yeah, no, I ended up enjoying what I studied.
I tell you what, I'll give you a bad for that. Gee whiz. But it shows when you enjoy something as well.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I got a naught for needlework.
Oh, did you? Well, that's all right. It's all right. You can just get someone to do that for you. No, but I mean, that's amazing. 9 distinctions. Holy crap. I mean, you're clearly very focused. So you're not an ADD person at all. Focused person.
Yeah, I think I'm more pragmatic, focused, and I'm passionate if I believe in something.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned earlier I'm a cause-orientated person. Then I put everything into it, and I always try my best. And if you know, I like to win as well. Yeah. But if I don't, as long as I tried my best, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. That's what I can. But you say cause, and it's so important because it fills your soul. Yeah. In the end, if you know, if you're doing good for somebody else, it really does. Beverly Erickson saying hello.
Hi.
Hello, Bev.
Hi there, Bev.
And Fernando Angeleri. Fernando plays drums with Epi and the boys. You remember Epi and the boys?
Yes, they performed at one of our functions when we were Delta Motor Corporation.
Yes, yeah. I'm sure. I might have even played with them. I can't remember.
Probably.
I remember I did a lot of shows for Delta as well and for GM over the years.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's getting almost time for our getting to know you questions. So let's hit it.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
All right, so the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Okay, I once went to the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, and I actually went in the tunnels that the North Koreans were digging. Yes.
Kim Jong and Donald Trump didn't go, and Kim Jong-un stepped across.
Yeah, no, I love history, so for me it was quite a big deal to go to the demilitarized zone, and I meant to talk to the people that live there and understand the experience, because what I didn't realize when I went to Seoul for the first time was the US military army presence that's so visible there.
Still there?
Yes, yeah. So when you start learning more about it, it's fascinating. So so I went in those tunnels.
Jeez, that's amazing. Because also I love history. That's one thing I do. Yeah. The hardest you've ever worked?
Well, that had to be with the General Motors exit.
Yeah, the exit.
I mean, I've 4
years.
Yeah.
Did you get? I mean, didn't it get you down? I mean,
no, it was tough. It was hard, and I think I also felt guilty because I was spending more time at work, obviously, than with the family, so you also had that dilemma that you were dealing with.
Your family, I mean, I don't know if you want to even say it, talk about it, but I mean, married, kids, anything?
My daughter has just finished her article, so
wow.
Yeah, so she's a qualified chartered accountant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, she'll be able to look after you in your retirement.
Well, she's now decided she wants to be an entrepreneur, so.
Oh, well, I love that.
No, absolutely.
This show is all about entrepreneurs, by the way. I try and get as many entrepreneurs as I can, because those are the guys that are there and they're getting out there and they're just putting the blindfold on and going.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what's out there, what obstacles, I'm for it.
No, and she went to VP.
Oh, and she went to VP as well, so it's got a very good start. Oh, no. Okay, so the most physically painful thing that you've ever experienced, except childbirth?
Yes, that's a hard one, because I've been told by doctors I have a high tolerance for pain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think for me it's been more the emotional pain. You know, like those things I explained earlier when you find out that General Motors is exiting out of the country, and then you think of the impact on others. So I think it's more that kind of pain.
Yeah, and you know, I have a friend of mine's also heads up he's FD, and if you're heading up a company or you're in the know with management, it can be so difficult because these companies, doesn't matter how well you think they're doing, it's always on a knife edge, isn't it? It's like the bigger the company, the bigger the bigger the swings in cash flow.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden there's 20 million down or 150 million down, and then it's 600 million up, and then it's $1 billion down. You know, it's like, and these swings are so difficult for guys in top management.
Well, I think COVID has obviously made it even more challenging.
Even more. It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
When you look at it at scale, all of a sudden. When it's not just like one, two things going wrong. Oh man, hectic. The coldest you've ever been?
Aside from in countries when you're there in December when they have snow, I remember when I was camping when I was a child, and it was freezing cold, and I never ever camped again. I went with a friend, and to this day I won't go camping.
Which friend was that?
I'll tell you after the show.
And he said, no, it's too cold. Where did you go to? Why was it so cold? In the mountains or something?
No, I think it was somewhere, I can't even remember where it was. Maybe Van Stadens or something.
You didn't
like
take your jersey.
Well, I'd never camped before.
Oh, right. So you put her off camping for the rest of her life. Oh, my word. Biggest accomplishment in your career this far?
I think the one thing that I personally feel proud of is when I was appointed into the Africa Middle East role for General Motors.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and my boss at the time was a guy by the name of Mario Spannenberg, larger than life, most amazing person. But when he joined our company, he still came to my office to meet me and introduce himself. And he sits down, big hulking guy, and he says, "You don't know me, and I don't know you. But I'm going to give you rope, and it's up to you whether you hang yourself or not." So that's how we started our working relationship. And we worked very well together. And eventually I got promoted into that role. And he was based in Dubai at the time. So I had a boss in Dubai and a boss in Singapore.
Wow.
And then when I started with Africa Middle East, he says, "Okay, you've only got one KPA for your job."
What's a KPA?
Oh, it's like a key performance indicator. Okay. And he says, "Your one is you have to sort out the hormonal problem in the Middle East." And I said, "What do you mean?"
What do you mean?
And it was actually a cultural problem where you had Western culture versus Arab culture. And then you come in as a South African now, and now you've got to resolve this.
You're between the two.
Yes.
As a Burki, that's a difficult thing to understand.
No, and I actually was able to work well and somehow resolve things to the extent that I got an award at the end of the year for integration of the Middle East team. So
you did it.
Yeah, no. So for me, it's more about the people than about hard metrics that you achieve. You know?
For sure, absolutely, it is. But isn't everything about people? It's all networks and relationships and building trust and you know. I think with anything, I do think that. How's your life been different than you imagined it to be? Other than photography, I suppose.
No, I think it is completely different, because I think when I was a young girl growing up, I imagined that one day I would. I didn't even think of having a career. That wasn't even an option. So what I'm doing is foreign to what I thought of.
Really?
And I thought I would have 4 children. I imagined a very different life. And I think the one thing that's also surprised me as you get older is how fast time goes. Because, I mean, we're talking about when we were in high school. It feels like the other day that you were playing drums in assembly, you know.
89, 88, 87, 86.
Yeah. No, not that. It was later. It was 89.
Yeah, 89 was there. Yeah, there was an assembly that was 86 and 87. I think that's crazy. I see Keith Faree saying you've got a new fan. Says, take a bow, young lady. Very impressive. The other one, Keith runs a spur. He runs a spur. So if you ever need a hamburger, okay. Keith's going to organise you one. Organise you one for sure. And yeah, that's great. I love it. The craziest, most out of character thing you've ever done?
Okay, so the one thing that I did, it was one of our, when we were Delta Motor Corporation, every year we used to have a year-end party for our managers. And then every year you had to come up with something new and different to do, you know. Yeah. So I came up with a crazy idea the one year that we were going to have a fire and ice party at the fire station. You know, South End Fire Station? Ooh, yes. You might have performed at that function.
I think I did that one.
Yes.
And the committee was there.
Yes, I think
remember.
so.
There was a poll and everything.
Yes. Now that's the craziest thing I've done because I wanted the entertainment to come down the fireman's pole onto the stage, and then we went to the top. But it's the tallest fireman's pole in the country, and I thought the pole would be and you just take it and you go down. But it was actually there. You had to jump onto it to get to the pole. So these guys are standing there and they're going, no, they're not going down. So I said, okay, if I do it, will you do it? And they said, yeah. So I did it.
I do vaguely remember that gig. Yeah. I'm sure I was doing my stuff there. I can't remember if it was comedy or what. Alan Committee was doing must have been his Mr. Bean thing that he was doing at that time. I've had him on the show as well before. And I remember that was the fire station.
But I don't think people realise that the distance, you know. And if you fall, you...
No, you mutu. Yeah. You mutu. Oh, no. Okay, so what are you completely over and done with? Finished?
So I can't say COVID. Hey?
Oh, no, you can't say COVID, other than COVID.
I remember years ago, so it's not now, it's something from years ago, where when social media first came out.
Yes.
We had these experts came out from General Motors in the US because we were in the communications environment. They had to educate us about these platforms and how to use it, and they made you go onto social media.
Okay.
So I went onto Facebook.
Yeah.
I lasted for 24 hours, and I thought, there's no ways I'm going to do this, and I've never been back on Facebook since.
I noticed that.
I don't exist on Facebook. In fact, I don't put out anything personal on social media because I don't like the personal and how nasty people get, and
I get it.
So for me, it's purely professional.
It's anonymity that's the problem.
And I think there's something to be said for privacy as well. You know. Yeah. So I don't exist.
No, so you're under the radar. You're Mrs. No one on any social media.
Well, I don't think it would be a bad thing if they actually stopped all social media for 6 months or a year, and we all take a breather.
Take a break. Yeah. I actually do admire you for that because. My life revolves around this bloody social, and I mean I see you on LinkedIn but LinkedIn is very much more businessy kind of vibe, you know. Yep. I see that you're probably very very well liked on LinkedIn because we can actually stream from LinkedIn, but wherever we need it's like a vibe to do it. I don't know how to do it yet. We must figure it out. But it's a different feel on LinkedIn. It's very much business.
Yeah, and Twitter also worked because that was for news. So I've launched lots of cars over the years, and then you do all your car launches and that, and then you tweet about whatever new vehicle that you've launched and features. And
of course, you must have known my uncle Nedo as well.
Nedo
Fabry was a QC at Delta for many years. Oh, not GM. Okay, not so.
But there were a lot of people working there. So I often have people asking me about, and most of the people I know, but not everybody.
No, he was quality control manager for years.
Okay.
And my dad was actually there as well. In the tour, they sent new cars. They used to design. They had like clay cars that they used to work the tools for. Amazing stuff.
Okay.
Incredible. And but you there was one thing I missed out. You had your own. Was it your own consultancy that you had before you joined the chamber?
Yeah. So when I left my job, I was going to become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But that only lasted a short while because then I got asked to apply for this job.
This job.
so it wasn't part of my plan.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's meant to be, because for me, I want to make a difference. So it's not so much about titles or anything like that. It's more about, I honestly believe that if we pull the right people in together and we all start thinking in a different way, we can change things for the better.
You're so the right person because you're very well respected in that side, and I think it's because of the way you are. You're like direct and straight, and you tell the truth, and there's not, there's this integrity that we've spoken about before. I had Kuster Jack on about his integrity movement and his and that's everything. I say to my boys as well, that's everything you've got is your integrity.
Absolutely.
There's nothing else in your life actually that's important like that, because it encompasses everything. So that's the one. Your strangers, have you got superstitions?
I'm not a superstitious person. I believe in fact.
Science.
So everything I do is based on fact, but I make decisions quickly. So once I have the facts, then I make the decision. So I'm not indecisive.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Like clothes shopping and stuff like that, you don't mess around. You go straight in.
I do it with military precision.
Really?
Yeah. So I go in and out.
So impressed. Because I go with Philippa and then my knees get sore.
No, I mean, I know a lot of people complain about how long women take to get dressed and ready and that. But I'm not like that.
Sharp like that. Oh, good.
no, it's just when I know what I must do, and then I go and I do it.
Decisive, very decisive. Oh, that's a good trait. What song always wants to make you dance? Out of time, obviously.
I've got absolutely no rhythm, but I like that song. I don't feel like dancing. What's the name of it? Scissors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That song makes you feel like dancing.
I don't feel like dancing.
There you go.
No dancing today. Just feel like dancing.
I love music.
That gets you up, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a positive song as well. I quite like that.
Yes,
Your favorite phone app?
I've got Spotify.
Ooh.
And I do like Shazam as well.
Oh, just find out what the song is.
Yes, and then I go onto Spotify and I add it to my ultimate playlist.
You heart it. You like it. Okay, the stupidest thing that you've ever done.
Oh heck.
I can't believe that you've done anything stupid. I mean, you think about everything that you do.
No, look, I probably am more controlled in how I operate. So you're probably right about that. Yeah. But when I was young, I remember visiting my one aunt. My brother and I were there, and she offered us lemonade to drink. It was a hot day and we were thirsty, and she took the lemonade out and she poured us each some lemonade, and she left the kitchen, and I was so thirsty I just took the glass and I downed it, but it was actually paraffin. And I still can't believe to this day that I didn't stop drinking, because if you're drinking paraffin, I ended up in hospital where they had to pump the paraffin. Yeah.
My God, that is so hectic, and you didn't even smell it. No. Like, I'm so thirsty. Paraffin.
Yeah, so that's the stupidest thing I've probably done.
My word! Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's quite hectic. That's one of the winners. Okay. What do you find yourself doing a lot these days?
I play a lot of tennis. And I've probably been playing more tennis, especially since COVID started and you were trapped at home. And when we were allowed to walk again, I was doing a lot of walking, and then tennis was one of the sports that we could play.
At VP, I think used to, because I spoke to, who was it, the other day, and I said, I'm having Denise on the show, and she said, she used to play tennis with us. It was Lorna Jarman, I think Lorna.
Okay.
At VP must have been in the tennis team at VP.
No, I enjoy my tennis. It's a good outlet. Yeah.
You play at clubs?
I play at Westview. And and we play some evenings, and I play on the weekends.
Okay. You went at Warmer 10th. I was at Warmer 10th for a while.
Okay.
Very nice.
No doubt you were like one of the best players there.
Oh, no. My balls went over the fence sometimes with my serving. And I used to just make the third whatever, the fish and chips side. You know? I've done some stupid things on the tennis court, believe me. Your current obsession. Do you get obsessed about things?
Not really, but I like Spotify. You know, and I always have to make sure that I get the right songs on there and I don't miss something that's good. And I like to track music, not just the old music. I like to listen to the latest as well, because you find a lot of people are trapped in an era.
Yes.
And I don't like to. Me. Yeah, no, I don't like to be trapped in an era.
Okay. Well, Philippa says that I'm trapped in an era, totally. But I mean,
are you trapped in the 80s?
Yeah, I am trapped in the 80s, but also in the 70s a bit as well. Like early 80s and late 70s. I'm kind of in between there. I vary between like the early 80s and Jeff Lynne and Electric Light Orchestra.
Oh, I like them too. Yeah,
I love it as well. But you should be listening to newer stuff.
And there's some great new music.
There is very, very nice. It's very varied now. Yes, it's very varied. Yes, yeah. And when do you listen to the music? Do you like while you're sitting at home having a glass of wine, or?
I always have music on. So even in my office, I have the radio playing. Okay. And when I walk in the house, the first thing I do is I've got an iPod. My phone is connected, so music goes on. So everything I do, when I can, I have music on. So.
I love that, Denise. That's very nice.
I just don't have rhythm.
Excellent. Okay, the favorite place to visit in the world?
That's a hard one. I've actually been very lucky where I've got to visit a lot of places. I mean, I didn't even think I was going to travel. Yeah. But I particularly enjoyed Argentina, Buenos Aires. You know, the cult, and it's more about the culture, the people. When I travel, I don't like organized thing. I like to walk the streets, and then if you feel like doing this, you do that. And
good. I like that.
And I got used to traveling a lot on my own as well, because you do a lot of business trips on your own. Yeah. And the last trip I did before COVID, I did a trip to, and I think some people thought I was mad, but I went to Barcelona. And then to Valencia and Istanbul. And I mean, I didn't have a plan. I just made it up. And I was on my own. Yeah. But I enjoyed it.
You're okay?
Yes.
Well, you like your alone time as well, though?
Yes, no, I do. No, I can be with people and I can be on my own.
That's good. That's good. I've just... Gino, Philippa says I haven't moved on from the 80s. You're such a liar. At least one or two songs I've read from Denise. Denise is an excellent tennis player, says Wendy Thompson.
Thank you, Wendy.
Are you quite a player?
Well, I've improved a lot lately, I think, because I've been playing more.
I find when you play when you're older, you actually focus more on your training and your stuff, and so you learn to
Now, I've been told my tennis is unconventional and courageous. Yeah.
Oh, courageous. I like that. Okay. All right. What brings you the most joy in your life, excluding your family, like an interest or something?
Yeah, I just like being outside.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, so whether it's walking outside or playing sport, I like to be outside and active.
Oh, nice. Good. Something that you know now that you didn't know when you were younger, that you kind of, I suppose, that you wish you would have known.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
It is, eh?
Yeah, I mean, even if I just think of COVID, and we were talking about this earlier, and how our lives have changed, and things that are illegal. Because I mean, I remember when I was young, leaving the house, and then your father's telling you that you must be home before the curfew.
Yes,
be home before
6
midnight.
o'clock or whatever.
And now, I mean, I found myself these last few months and a year and a half, 2 years, and you go out and you say to your daughter, "Don't worry, I'll be home before my curfew." I mean, so there's in many ways, I think life has turned out very differently to what we could ever have imagined, you know.
Totally. It's a bit, it's always a bit worrying in places, because you think of this, you're almost in a military state, you know. It's getting to East German proportions, you know, or like, you know, don't cross the border, don't cross the wall. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. You used to thrash us at Clarendon. says Wendy Thompson.
No, it's my competitive side.
Right. All right. Your biggest splurge that you've ever done?
I think it's travel. You know, and one of the memorable trips I did, I went with my parents and we went to Machu Picchu. In Peru.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah, and I mean that was quite an experience, and I think for the first time I realized, you know, when people climb Mount Everest and Kilimanjaro and the risks associated with that, then you realize altitude and how serious it is, because when you're in Yes, but you can feel the altitude, and when you go to Cusco for the first few days that you're there, you can't drink alcohol, you can't drink meat, because you have to climatize, and they have these oxygen rooms everywhere, and and
just
then
in case.
but you can feel the air. So it's not about your fitness levels; it's more about the altitude.
And your breathing gets used to it. I suppose you breathe deeper, or I don't know how it works. I've never quite understood that. So Delta Motor Corporation HR department posted 4,000 meal vouchers from me for a number of consecutive years as a rewards benefit for their staff. A dynamic, passionate group of people to deal with at any time, always going the extra mile. Oh, lovely.
Delta did amazing things for the employees, and I think that was also something I really enjoyed about my time there.
Yeah, that must have been Chris as well, then, to the HR department.
Yes, yeah.
We quite liked the old hamburger back then. Lovely. It was Marlena.
Yeah, she's still
there
linked to the company. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good, good bunch.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing you want your kids to know.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
And also you shouldn't try and live out other people's dreams.
Yeah. Okay.
You must do what's right for you. And I think we're all different.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I've never lived my life with what other people expect of you.
Yeah. Okay.
You create your own happiness, your own direction. And I think people often point fingers at other people and they think they're responsible for those things. Yeah.
It's also if you step back and say, listen, what's important, and let's have a look at this whole thing here. What's making me happy? Mm-hmm. Is this just a job? Is it just, what is important in your life? What makes you happy?
But sometimes you also, when I was younger, you would worry about things more. And then some situation happened, and then you would fret about it. But that person's already moved on.
Yeah.
And they've forgotten about it.
Yes.
So you also realize that sometimes you take things on that you shouldn't take on.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I find that with the comedy when I'm doing my show and I go and I say. And I go up to somebody. Yeah. That person often has come to me and then he came up to me and it was so. But to be honest, if you look at the whole big picture, nobody even saw them there. They're just watching the show, and it's not. But when you are when you've got me coming to you and rubbing your head or whatever, the spotlight's on. It's like, oh my God, the whole world's watching me. And you don't actually realize that it works in a similar way.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, and now I think it's time for the quick questions, Gary. Rapid fire quick quiz. This is where Philippa moans at me because I take too long with the quick quiz.
This sounds scary.
No, it's fine. It's just quick questions. So first thing that comes to your head kind of thing. This is quite a difficult one. 3 words to describe yourself.
Probably diligent.
Yes.
Outcomes focused. And cause orientated.
So goals.
Yes.
That's goals.
Yeah.
It's actually strange. Most of the people that come on the show are actually they just go with the flow, whatever. You seem very planned and organized. I love this. I could follow you around and try and get my life in order like this. I tell you what, you're someone that can take a plan and then make it focused so that you understand it and this is the way forward. Love that. Okay, love it. The silliest nickname that's ever been given to you?
Dennis the Menace. You can't play tennis.
Denise the Menace.
That was funny. From primary school.
Of course. They're all the kids. They just know. Gino and say Quark was my one. Do you remember that stupid duck from Pinocchio?
Yes.
It's Gino the duck. It's Gina. I'm Gino, for goodness sakes. But I was always Gino and say Quark. Because it had that song.
Yes.
So you could say, no, Miss Gina and say Quark. Jeez.
Because those were the days when you had Heidi. Remember Heidi?
Yeah, Heidi. Lucky it wasn't Denise, because otherwise you would have had it. Oh, my word. Your favorite thing to eat?
It's a toss-up between sushi and pizza.
Oh, really? Sushi and pizza. Those are 2 good ones.
Yeah.
I like those 2. Pizza, I get pizza headache. Oh, my goodness. I can't eat like I used to. Your favorite live concert that you've ever attended?
Oh, I was lucky. I went to a concert a couple of years ago in Cape Town, when the days when you still had live concerts. And I saw Foo Fighters and Kaiser Chiefs the same evening. That was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that.
Foo Fighters is just insane.
That David Grohl was amazing, and the way he communicated with the audience as well. Because before that I saw Kings of Leon, but they were so clinical.
Okay.
So it didn't feel like a live concert, because you want the engagement and
you want to say, hey,
and tell stories and
of course.
So that was amazing.
Oh, lovely. I would have loved to see you're such a lucky lady, you know. Your spirit animal.
Okay, this will sound weird. Maybe a giraffe.
A giraffe?
Yeah.
Like long neck.
No, I just think a giraffe is beautiful, and I love watching how they move, and I think they're unconventional. They're unconventional. They don't have to conform.
They are quite graceful, but in a sort of strange way.
And for me, I don't feel like I have to conform. So they like something different, and
So you take a long time to swallow an idea.
No, it's not that. I'm just not one of those people that feel like they have to do what everybody else is doing.
Not a non-conformist.
And you don't have to fit in and be liked by everybody.
Yes.
You do what you think is right.
No, clearly with your job that you've had up until now. I mean, I still there's a sense of amazement that you are such a tough lady in so many ways, you know. I mean, are there times when you're anxious about things?
Yes, you make me sound scary.
No, but I mean, I'm so saying that you're not. I mean, you don't come just like tough, like aggressive.
Yeah.
But certainly tough, as in like, okay, I've made my decision. This is it.
Yeah.
Like your daughter must have come across that lady a few times.
Yeah.
No. It's no.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Cool. Are you the type of person that can easily wake up first thing in the morning? Do you need like multiple alarms?
I wish I was like that, but unfortunately I'm not a good sleeper. So I wake up early without any... I set the alarm, but I wake up before the alarm.
Not too many REM moments.
No. I think I've got too much going on in my head and too many ideas. Because I tend to be an ideas person as well.
Okay, so you've got ideas coming.
Yeah.
That's because that's normally like a creative brain thing as well.
Well,
so you've just certainly got a
I'm weird. I've got a mix of
It's actually very lucky. It's like a little superpower. It is. A book that's had a lasting impression on you?
Not so long ago, I've always enjoyed Jeffrey Archer.
Okay.
And there was the Clifton Chronicles that I read, and it's over history. So if you like history, it starts, I think, in the 1910s right up until modern time. But it's a whole series of books you read, and I just love the story.
Jeffrey Archer, I will go and have a look, because I do like this year. I've been reading some of this. Donald Thomas has been releasing some of the settler stuff, like stories from the diaries of the settlers.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Trying to rig up oxen and trying to, like for the first time.
Now, I read a book recently. It's set in Berlin just before World War II.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just fascinating. The people that were on the Jewish side, and then also the people on the Nazi side and what they had to deal with, and that. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Because people are people in the end. So how do they deal with this? And it's like, my word. Yeah. Your guilty pleasure.
Netflix.
Oh, really? Netflix. Netflix and chill. There we go. What's your favorite piece of clothing? It's a lovely jacket that you got.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I think on the weekend, maybe shoes, sloppies.
Slops.
Yeah.
Okay, sloppies.
Yeah, and then in summer, if I'm at home, I don't want to wear shoes at all.
Okay. So golffoot.
Yeah.
Is it van Huyssteen, but I know I go.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was your parents, your mom Afrikaans, your dad Afrikaans?
No, I was married to an Afrikaans person.
Okay. And one thing that you're the absolute worst at?
I can't dance. I can't clap my hands.
Okay. I'll have to teach you with the drums. Is there a movie that's made you scream?
When I was young, remember that
Jaws?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was scary, huh?
Oh, geez, no, there was one when I was young called Devil's Triangle, Satan's Triangle, or something.
Or Omen.
Oh, Oh, no, I mean, I didn't even go near there.
Okay.
That just sounds too hectic for me. I'm really like, oh, no, there was one of the Devil's Triangle where he used in the water.
Oh, Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, there was like a Bermuda
Yes,
thing.
I remember something like
that?
it. Yeah, it was scary.
It's
Yeah.
completely freaked me out the rest of my life. I was like 12, I think. Do you remember that too? Same similar age, you see. We were freaked out by that movie. Does anybody remember it? Dennis Karanges. Gino, let's what? I don't know. I don't know what Dennis is talking about. Gary, do you know? No. It's like, it must have been something we were talking about. Dennis, explain yourself, young man. He's with Algoa FM.
Yes, I know Dennis.
Yes, you know Dennis. Oh, there we go.
Hi, Dennis.
Your happy place?
I suppose on the tennis court.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because that's when you forget about everything and you just play and you have fun.
You don't run as well?
Yes, I run fast.
Runner as well?
Yeah, no, I'm fast.
Runner?
No, not a runner.
like
No.
a jogger?
I hate jogging. I hate jogging.
You do the like short
I like
runs.
short, fast, and
Okay,
I can play tennis all afternoon.
Squash.
But I would never go jogging
not a
or go
jogger.
cycling or those kind of sports.
Okay,
no.
it's not that vibe. Okay. Any hobbies, or do you collect anything?
Well, I guess tennis is my hobby, and I like to read. I read a lot,
Okay.
and music, So yeah.
There you go, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I think it's just about time for the last few now. It's the either ors. Oh, weird. Okay, so this is Gary's speciality. This stuff. Would you have either a live-in massage therapist or a live-in chef? You can only have one.
That's a difficult one.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
a living chef.
Oh, chef. Okay.
Yeah.
Just get bring her on your couch.
Lots of sushi.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Form or function?
Form
or function, like beauty or like sort of functional.
Oh, I suppose I'm more functional.
More functional side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't look at the not like Italian, the motor car. Just make it beautiful, but they break down all the time.
No. I mean, like in your home, you want things aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
So,
Okay, you go for that as well.
Yeah. So I guess it's a mix between the two.
Okay, a little bit of a mix, but you're not really allowed to choose one. But we'll give you that one. All right. Most important in a partner: intelligent or funny. You can only have one.
Yeah, that's hard, but I suppose I'll go with intelligent because I'd like to have lots of debates.
Okay, it's very, very boring with you and your debates.
Debates are not boring.
Oh my word. Okay, 80s and before music or 90s onwards?
I actually prefer some of the newer music.
One.
Yeah, so I like Imagine Dragons and I like those kind of things. Coldplay.
Released a new album today.
Oh, did they?
Imagine
Okay.
Dragons got a new album out.
Okay, great.
Lovely. But ABBA's also got one.
No, I saw that and I didn't like what I saw there. They should have stayed in the 70s.
Fair enough. Well, they might do with their holograms. I don't know what they're going to do. Alone or in a crowd?
I do both.
Yeah.
So I can't actually pick one. I'm happy in either space.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, or either or.
Yeah.
Forgiveness or vengeance?
No, I think more forgiveness. I'd rather forgive and move on.
Forgive and move on.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to go after someone.
Because vengeance is like it still stays in you and it's festers.
But that is terrible when you do that because you're only harming yourself.
Yeah,
so I don't believe in
forgiveness is better.
So you don't carry grudges.
Yeah, no, we don't.
I mean, things happen in life and lots of things you don't like.
Yeah.
But I don't carry that grudge. I rather focus on what you can influence, what you have control of, and just keeping positive.
And forget about it. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's done, man.
Exactly.
Forget it, man. It's gone. Okay. Freedom or security?
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one as well.
But I suppose freedom. I would go with freedom.
Freedom, rather than security.
Yes.
Says someone with 2 bodyguards.
And who's very controlled.
Yeah, I see that, yes. Yeah. Freedom, controlling other people. As long as you got your bloody freedom.
No, it's not like that.
Okay, no, fair enough. These are trick questions, they are.
They are.
False hope or no hope at all?
I'd rather false hope.
False hope, rather that.
I think when you're hopeless, then there's just no point waking up. You've got to have a reason to wake up and something to believe in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Flats or heels?
Flats.
Yeah,
no, I don't do heels.
Excellent.
Check my shoes.
Oh, check it out. Those are like Doc Martens. We got that. Come on, Gary. Get this camera going.
There's my boots.
You've got to flick it over quickly. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Look at those. Huh? Those are Doc Martens, those.
No, they're not Doc Martens.
They look like Doc Martens to me. I think you're fooling yourself. You weren't a goth, were you?
No.
You weren't. I think you could have been a good goth. The 90s, like early 90s.
Okay. No, I just want comfort.
No, there you go. That's very comfy. That's good. And you could also give someone a good scoop with us.
Always prepared.
Yeah. Okay, long nails or short nails?
Short nails.
Excellent.
Because you have to work in the garden.
Yeah, okay. Waxing or shaving?
Shaving.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's time. It's time for the would you rathers. There we go. Right. Would you rather have more money or more time?
More time.
Oh yeah, okay, I love that. Would you rather have 100 duck-sized elephants or 1 elephant-sized duck?
1 elephant-sized duck.
You prefer the one, just big one?
I don't like clutter.
Okay. 1 big elephant-sized duck. Oh my God, where are you going to put it? In the front garden. It'll be an attraction then, you know.
No.
Won't be too much personal life after that, let me tell you.
High impact.
Yeah, high impact, definitely. Okay, would you rather live in a world with no caffeine or in a world with no meat?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Oh no.
I would have to say no caffeine.
Oh, no caffeine. Oh, now you hurt me. What is it? You cut me deep. You cut me deep.
Are you a vegetarian?
No, I love coffee.
Yeah, but can you imagine not having prawns and
no.
if you think about all the steaks and
No, I know.
chicken curry.
I don't know now. Stop, you're confusing me. You spokesperson. Damn you, spokesperson. You're such a politician. Okay. Okay. Would you rather win 200,000 Rand for yourself or have your best friend win R1 million?
I think my best friend won R1 million.
Do you think they're going to give you that 200 grand?
Yes, I'm hoping.
You see?
I was hoping for 50-50.
Yeah. All right. You could have gone for 500 instead of 200. You think your friend's going to do that? They're going to run a mile. I'm like, oh no, I'm not really. She's more of an acquaintance. All right. Would you rather fight a chicken to the death every time you get into a car, or fight an orangutan to death once a year, but you get a sword?
They're both bizarre, but I'll go with the orangutan so I can get the sword.
Get the sword.
Yeah.
Quite like that poor orangutan. You know, honestly, 2 long arms lying on the ground.
That's a terrible question.
How's it ever going to scratch its ass ever again? All right. Would you rather lose all of your teeth or lose 1 eye?
Well, I think I'd rather keep my sight.
Okay, rather keep it.
Yeah,
on.
then you'll get false teeth.
Yes, Denise.
Well, the irony is I actually don't have any fillings.
Oh,
yeah.
It's got very good teeth.
Yes.
Did you used to take those little pills when you were younger?
I think my mom gave it to me. Small.
Zymaflor.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I used to have those too also.
Yeah.
But apparently I chew badly. That's why I got the filling in.
No, because when I go to doctors and they always comment on my teeth.
Oh, yeah.
So at least
wonderful teeth.
At least something is good.
Yeah, I know. Well done. All right. One last question. Would you rather have a lazy eye or a lazy spouse?
Yo. That's a difficult one. Lazy eye.
I'd rather go with a lazy eye.
I don't like.
I don't. Bring me a cup of coffee.
I don't like lazy people. I think
okay.
it's such a waste of the life we've been given.
All right. I don't know. I can't tell you if I'm lazy. I don't think I am.
No, you need to be energized.
No, you do. You do. You have to be, and we have
Yeah.
to move forward.
Yeah.
Keep on going. That's what we've been doing with the show as well. Okay, Denise, our final question we always have for our guests is your proudest moment, and then something's gone totally wrong. Like, I don't know what it would be in your case, because normally with musicians, it's like when something's blown up or something's gone, like a gig's gone wrong, you know, or a business meeting or something.
Yeah, I suppose my proudest moment was actually with my daughter.
Yeah.
When she won the Entrepreneur of the Year award when she was in high school, you know, and for me, I mean, she achieved well in accounting and all the other things, but for me that was like an excellent achievement.
It's well, you've been stoking that the whole time. That's the thing. So it is a proud moment.
So I was very proud of her for that. And then you said the most challenging experience.
Yes, or thing when something's gone wrong, like I don't believe it.
I've had lots of experiences where things go wrong, but especially when you're traveling. And when I was traveling a lot, lots of things went wrong. And the one particular trip we did, we went to Miami. Not to Miami. To Orlando, to Disney World.
Yes.
We went there for a business conference.
Oh, my,
so that's when we were with General Motors, and there was a whole group of us. There was about 10 of us traveling together, and we all had to travel together. So we flew from PE to Joburg, but when we got there, the flight was delayed. So everyone, they start off jovial, and then people start getting grumpy and all of that kind of thing. And then eventually we get a flight, and we get in Atlanta. And it's interesting, you see the true character of people when you're in that kind of situation. And some of the guys just ran, and they were in it for themselves, and they had American Airlines special privileges or whatever, and they got their cases, and they were able to make a plan and
make the next flight.
Yeah, but I waited with the few in the group that waited. So you make sure you all kind of together.
Heard them together.
Yeah, and then we ended up being stuck in Atlanta. So then we had to go and check in at a hotel. And you had to go out of the airport and go do that. And I still remember when we checked in, they still checked me in with one of the guys, and then we had to get them to change that. Because I was the only lady in the group.
Oh, my word.
And then the next day we had to, and I remember the one guy still got a flight from Seattle to eventually get to Orlando. So he was off. So some people did their own thing, and then a small group of us stayed together. And then eventually we got to Orlando, and we were a day late for our conference. And I remember our boss at the time was very angry that we were late. But anyway, then we participated in the race, and then so that was a terrible trip. But then when you're coming back home, then people are really tired and they've had enough. And things went well until we got to Joburg, and then our flight got delayed.
Oh, again.
So you're so close to home, but now you
can't get there.
So the one guy and I, we decided, we're going to have some wine and we're going to relax. And then eventually when we got onto the plane, we sat on the plane, and then there was a guy, one of our colleagues was sitting behind us, but he was very grumpy. And when the plane took off, his seat went like this, and he got quite angry. So when the air hostess came up, when the ting ting thing happens, then he's called her and he says, he complained. No, he says he's in economy class now because his chair went all the way back and they must fix his chair, and he was just grumpy. And then my other colleague and I, we were sitting there and we were laughing at him, and the more we were laughing, he was getting angry with us. And then they come around with the drinks, and then of course we order some wine and we're chatting, and then this guy, he ordered red grape Taza. But then he was wearing these light chino pants.
Oh no!
And then the air hostess comes and she accidentally spills the grape Taza, lands on his lap, and the two of us burst out laughing, which was the worst possible thing that could happen. So you can imagine how that all played out. So I think when you're traveling with people, you see the best and the worst in people, and how people handle situations.
And you're always leaving stuff behind, and your passport and your thing.
When you travel, you've got to be patient, and you have to accept that things will go wrong. And there's no point going like that ad where the guy says, "You know who I am." It doesn't work. You just, and when things go wrong, you just adapt. You go with the flow.
Have a glass of wine.
Yep.
Good idea, Denise. You like a bit of wine here and there.
I do enjoy some wine.
It's lovely. It's a nice little relaxing thing. Denise van Huyssteen, it's been fantastic having you on the show.
Thanks, Gino.
Absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. And such a strong lady. Keep your head down. Keep going strong. And I can't wait to see what the Chamber's got in store, because it really is going to change things. And you're talking about the valley, you're talking about business, you're talking about water, you're talking about electricity. The Chamber is one of those hubs that's going to help our city to just
I hope so. We'll give it our best shot.
Absolutely. And if you need me for anything, I'm there for you.
No, thanks,
I'm
Gino.
there for you. Thank you, Liz. Okay, it's going to get loud in here now. We're going to do the drums. We've got our...
Must I get out the way?
No, it's fine. You can sit and watch from here. We're going to switch to the drum cam. Thank you to our sponsors, of course, Spa and Fitch and Leeds. Who've been fantastic throughout this time. They've supported us and it's been wonderful. And of course, Amobia, Nicola from Amobia. Amobia have got some big plans. They're going to be, there we go. You refer a friend and you can win 10,000 rand, you know. Buy yourself something very nice. And I see you, and it's one thing, I see you now, you're driving a Volkswagen. It must have been the weirdest feeling to get that as a sponsored car.
Yeah, it was a big transition, but I must say I'm proud to be associated with them. They're the biggest employer in our area, and if you think of what they do for the community,
absolutely,
they're very impressive.
No, they do. We've got some good dealers. I'm sponsored by East Cape Motors with Steve Theodosia and the guys, and they're also wonderful as well. Great show as usual, Gino. What a smart lady. Donald Thomas, you're so right. And I just talking earlier, Donald, about your posts that you've been making from that book for the history of the Eastern Cape. It's been fascinating. I've been reading some of those. And so yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to hit the drum cam now. The guys that are left online, you can win a Fitch and Leeds if you can guess the song that I'm going to play now on the drums. So you have to put your fingers in your ears, I think. Well, if you want to put those earphones in, those ones with the pole there, you can as well. All right, so over to the drum cam. Just get my microphone. Where's that? There we go. Right, we can switch off that mic and go onto this mic. All right. So you know the drill. You know the drill, ladies and gentlemen. You give me the name of the song and the title of the song and the artist, and you can win a Fitch and Leeds. I'm opening it up to the floor tonight. I think let's do it. And it's Bev Gaia. Well done, Bev. That's sex bomb indeed. It says a lot about you. Speaks volumes that you knew that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining Gino's Spot on this Monday night. It was a bit of a weird one. We are rebroadcasting at the normal time, of course, with this very show on Tuesday. So thank you to the Tuesdays. Welcome to the Tuesday guys as well. And we'll be back on Thursday this week. We've got Dani Gerber. Dani Gerber, kom bietjie praat met ons. This is only English interview for the year. We're going to talk about rugby on Thursday, so don't miss out at 6:30. All right, and then that'll be rebroadcast on Saturday. So this is for Tuesday. Thank you, Spa. Thank you to Fitch and Leeds. And thank you to Denise van Huyssteen for coming in. It's been absolutely fantastic having you. And a thank you to Amobia. Don't forget you can win 10,000 rand, 10,000. See you on Thursday.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. One drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's Spot.
Gino's Spot.
Get to Gino's Spot.
Gino's Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.